go back to the very basics of how everyone has built their business. And it's not the person with the biggest advertising budget, right? And who could spend the most amount of money. It's about relationships.
Yes.
Real estate is all about relationships, period. So if you don't want to double down and grow relationships and invest in relationships right now, I don't know what to tell you.
Hello, thank you for joining us for the Evolve Your Brand podcast. I am your host, Oli Emerkees, and I just want to thank Icon Industries, producers and owners of this amazing podcast, Shane times 3, Steven.
That's really funny.
I'm adding that. Steven, my pride and joy, the man behind everything.
It's really funny.
That puts shit on that I don't want. Love you. And then everybody else at Icon. We couldn't do any of this without you. We appreciate you. And today, I'm so excited. It's finally happening.
Yeah.
Jessie Wright,
Months in the
San Diego Rural Producers. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you.
Okay. Number one thing you're looking forward to for the podcast.
Oh my God.
Let's go.
Gosh, I don't know. Number one thing I'm looking forward to, dude, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm just grateful. Like that, again, I told you earlier that I don't do this a lot. I don't know. It's not that I don't do it a lot or get asked to do it, but like when I'm asked to do it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like someone thinks I'm special.
Okay. All right. Good. Let's dive into that. What is it? If somebody called me and said, well, you on my podcast, I'm like, all right. I'll be on someone's podcast.
Yeah.
So what was it that you want to talk about today? Like, what was one thing that you're like, I want to talk about this on the podcast?
Oh, man. We talked about evolving your brand, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that stood out to me earlier because I'm in this position right now where I'm talking with a lot of businesses who, I'll give you an example, actually.
Please.
The avocado guys, you mentioned them earlier, okay?
Danny Forrester.
Great people, right?
Yeah.
So we were talking about them, and there was this other company, I'll name them, Elite Home Inspections, who just actually called me. And this is funny. I've been working on them literally to partner with them. But I get referred to them like 3 or 4 times a year, and I call them and I'm like, yo, is it time? Let's get together. Let's do this. Let's partner together, right, with what we do. And long story short, he hit me up randomly, Josh Niehaus, just 2 weeks ago and was like, hey, it's time that we get together. And he realized, obviously, we're in a shifting market. We're in a down market, right? But at the end of the day, what always needs to be going on and happening is still networking, especially right now, right? Doubling down with your relationships and building your brand has to be going on right now, like at a massive rate. And if you're not doing that, or if you're pulling out, and that's where, again, at the end of the day, you have to be very strategic about marketing dollars and where you're spending money. Of course, you have to be smart about that. But that doesn't mean you just X it all and like sit on the fucking sidelines. You can't do that as a business. And if you do, sadly, it's a really bad play. Ooh, that's a really bad play.
You drop so much. I don't even know where. Okay, so let's talk about. You talked about brand explosion.
Yeah.
Like you got to go. How come? What are you seeing that's working with the people that are investing the time and energy in their brand?
It's relationships. Listen, and you know this, right? Somebody told me the stat the other day. 2 months ago, there was 150,000 lenders in the U.S.
Yeah.
And then last month there was 100,000.
Yep.
Okay, they're dropping fast, and I get it. This is a freaking tough market. But if you're also comparing it to the last 3 years, you're comparing it to you're not comparing apples and oranges. And everybody who's been in the business for a long time knows that.
Right.
Same with realtors. We're in this shifting market, and it's not going to bring everybody along with it. Okay. So at the end of the day, it always goes back to like and it really depends too, because you could be a new agent or a new lender, and I'm using those two as specifics, but like you could be a new whatever in the real estate industry and still succeed right now. But if you've been in the business and you're prepared for this that we're going to go through, because it's going to get worse before it gets better.
It is.
Without a doubt. Like,
it is.
If you think it's going to, like, I know everyone talks about rates and like, it's going to change. This shit ain't changing for a while. Just get fucking used to it. And like, this is the new norm, and be okay with that. Like, and if you think about also long term, like, look at the rates that our parents and grandparents paid for homes, right? So like, you just have to look at the bigger viewpoint and realize, go back to the very basics of how everyone has built their business. And it's not the person with the biggest advertising budget, right? And who could spend the most amount of money. It's about relationships.
Yes.
Real estate is all about relationships, period. So if you don't want to double down and grow relationships and invest in relationships right now, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I think the signs are evident. If you don't invest in your relationships, your brand, the differentiated value,
right, you're
going to be obsolete.
Right.
And so, you know what I learned? I learned that how come I'm even wasting, how come I'm spending energy on people that are not committed to growing their brand? I just stopped. There's no point.
You're exactly right. And that goes back to like, even with what we do with our partners, I'm very crystal clear, and I know exactly who the right partners are. And it's more about a mindset than the brand that they have necessarily.
Really?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Dig in. Okay. Hold on. So you're saying it's not about the dollars for you.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not about the dollars.
Well, marketing, Jessie, marketing is marketing. A lot of marketers are just about collecting money. That's all they do.
No, dude, if it was all about collecting money, I'd have 150 advertising partners and not 50.
There you go. Okay. So you've built San Diego Real Producers from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
You were handpicked. What has changed in the 7 years? What are you doing different today with how you're selecting your partners? What do you look for?
Again, it goes back to mindset.
Okay.
If someone wants to grow together, because when I say I don't call them partners for no reason. I call them, there are advertising partners, but I call them partners because we're partnering together. So I don't expect you just to pay the money and like come to a couple events and see what happens. Like, I want to help you grow your business and grow your brand. And we do that a whole bunch of different ways. But if you never attend our events, if you just put an ad in the magazine and hope it works, like, it's not going to be a fit for you. So like, when I talk to a business, and there's, again, I make sure they're the right fit on the front end, because I don't do short-term partnerships either. Like, we partner with people for 2 years plus, 2 to 4 years. Like, that's our agreements. By the way, most of my partners sign 4-year agreements with me. Why? Because if they've been watching what I've done and want to be partnered with somebody who's doing something that's a little different, but also, again, there's a lot of organizations to be a part of, but like, we have something a bit different where it's not just Compass or just Sotheby's or just this. We're really attracting agents from all different places and investors from all different places. And the idea is that we're connecting those businesses with great affiliates that they need for their business to grow too. So it's all about mindset, man. It's not about marketing dollars. Like, in fact, honestly speaking, our prices are so like affordable, it's ridiculous. I should probably raise my prices.
Really?
To be honest. Yes, I've kept the same prices forever. I just renewed. Shout out to Foundation Escrow. I just renewed Foundation Escrow.
Foundation. And I've heard so many amazing things. Dude, Ryan and Haley just.
Dude, they're like all of these.
Incredible. I heard.
There's like, I ain't gonna lie. There's a handful of escrow companies in San Diego, and I'm constantly referred to those two people. Foundation Escrow and New Venture Escrow, constantly. I know both of their ownership and leadership, and respect and love both of them as business people, and as people. Like, they're legit, and their teams and their reps are legit. Like, legit. I'm talking like 10-year people that have worked for the company for 10. Like, they're legit people, and they get it. They freaking get it. So my point is, what's my point with that?
They get about collaboration, partnership. Those are your partners.
Yeah. And so again, and you might have to drag me back into whatever my point was. I'm just very specific that, that's what I was shouting out Foundation for, because they just renewed their agreement for the 4th time. And doubled down. They're doing the prices went up just a touch. And I was like, hey, it went from 509 to 549. Is that cool with you? And she was like, sign it. It's good. So my point is, these aren't steep prices for what we do to help our partners get in front of realtors and ultimately build relationships and ultimately get deals done. By the way, it's not for everybody. I can't partner with every lender in town and every title person in town. I can't do that. There is some sort of exclusivity within our platform, but it's just not about money for me. It really isn't. It's about relationships. And if I can't help that business, I've met people that I ask them hey, what percentage of your business comes from realtors? And if it's a lower percentage, they're like, oh, I really want to, but I know I could dive in with realtors, but they're not my bread and butter. I'll ask them a whole bunch more questions. And if it's just not the right fit, I don't just take their money. That's unacceptable because again, I want a long-term partnership and I don't want to just take someone's money for a year or two and not provide value to them.
Now it's starting to all come together on how come when your name is spoken, it's in such high regard.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I hope so because what you see is what you get. And that's how I operate. I talk to you the same way I talk to any business owner, whether they're a multi-million-dollar business owner or they're brand new and just getting started.
Okay. So I think you're the perfect person to have this conversation with. So I've been diving into my brand and I'm like, hey, do I conform and just don't say this because you're going to turn off this audience, or don't dress like this because not everybody, professionals, luxury don't wear Hawaiian shirts all the time. What's your advice to someone that's asking these questions? An agent, an affiliate?
Dude, let's go. All about authenticity.
Okay.
Full out.
Okay.
Wear what you want to wear. Be and say what you want to be, do, and say. Have integrity with your word. That's all that matters to me and all that matters to most people. That's truly what it is. Just do what you said you were going to do. And so I'm all about authenticity through and through. And I think that if you ask, again, what you see is what you get with me. But there's just, maybe it is, I really truly don't, I have a filter, but not really, it's there, but not really, I just kind of, I say what's on my mind. I say how I feel. If something's not right, I'm like, it ain't right. Or someone's talking shit, I'm like, hey, I don't know them that well to be talking shit. I'm gonna step out of the conversation, right? And I don't want to engage in dialogue that's negative that I can't.
Yeah.
And sometimes trust me, I have bad days and some people piss me off and I have to let it ride, and
I'd love to see you pissed off. That'd be hilarious.
Oh God, I won't name names, but I got a couple that I'm really come on. Yeah. So it's just funny because people are sometimes really dumb. So I just had to call a spade, but again, I'm not going to go into those details, but
it's funny. I'm going to bring up something that's kind of sensitive because yesterday somebody said, they're like, hey, I help you out with this. And that was really, really unprofessional that you didn't follow up with me, and they were talking to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's the first time in a long, long time that I've ever been accused of being unprofessional. And then I asked a little more questions. And those are the types of things I didn't get my feelings hurt. Because that person, as I listened to their point of view, I'm like, holy shit, okay, I can understand why they thought I came across like that. And so I explained it, and I think I appreciate people like that. Mm-hmm. For her to be so professional about it and talk to me about it, I was thankful. Yeah. How do you approach people that are real with you and don't necessarily tell you what you want to hear?
Same.
Yeah?
Same way. Just ask better questions. Or keep going, I never get. So, for example, and the guy I'm thinking about, I won't name names, but someone said recently that they called me and they said, Jessie, hey, they're a lender in our platform, okay? And he said, Jessie, listen, I'm going to do 50 million this year in volume, and there's only 3 other people in your magazine that are doing that. And he named their names. And he said, I just think that me being a part of this and associated with this is bringing my brand down. Because your lenders, I know, again, right? See your confused ass fucking look. I was too. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Can you repeat it again, and then like let me ask you some more questions. And he said that it was bringing his brand down, being a part because he was the best lender in the book, and the rest of the lenders weren't as good as him. And I said, oh, okay. So wait a minute, you're telling me that let me get clear. You're the best lender in the book, and so the other lenders aren't as good as you, and so that's bringing your brand down. And he was like, yes. And like at the end of the day, because like what I really pulled apart from this, because we had a long conversation and I asked a bunch of questions. What I really pulled apart of this is simple. This man's been to one of our events in 18 months. He hasn't taken advantage of our platform at all. He hasn't come to anything. So like that is a big thing. You have to come to our events. You have to participate in the platform. He hasn't asked me for introductions. He hasn't asked me or connected me with anybody either. He hasn't done anything to be a part of this. And then the biggest thing was just be real about what the real issue was. And that's where I got frustrated.
What was it?
Let's be real. By the way, because again, this is why I thought it was very funny that he was telling me his production when he knows that I can also just pull his production. Yeah. Which I did. And his production was sitting around 20. Yeah. Now there's shit in the pipeline, I'm sure, right? Whatever. My point is he was hurting right now. So he didn't want to advertise anymore.
Oh, gotcha.
But instead of just saying, Jessie, listen,
I see.
I'm partnering with you. I'm not getting a lot out of this right now. And there's just we're in a down market. Yeah. Can you meet me somewhere? Can you talk to me and help me get out of this agreement?
Oh, got you. Okay.
Instead of fucking saying that, what you should have said, which is what the real problem, by the way, was, he had to say that there was a problem with our platform and that all the other lenders we partner with were poo-poo. So it's bringing his brand down. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, it brought his brand down. I agree with him. It did bring his brand down with the way he approached the conversation.
Oh, for sure. And now,
how's the relationship now? Do you see what I mean?
No, the relationship went here, and again, I will wish the best of anybody that I've ever come across, because it doesn't help me to grow my brand, and also it doesn't help me to just sleep at night to have negative feelings towards anybody, to be honest. Amen. Like, right? Like I can't, like all that negative energy, just, it will eat you up. So I just think it's still funny though. Cause like, I'm like, really? Like out of all the things, like that's
I'm not a part of San Diego Real Producers. And I will share with you like the value alone in the people that you have, like the knowledge that you would gain just by going in one networking. See, the way I learned it, I used to be very like closed-minded, especially in real estate. There's so much pride. There's so much ego.
For sure.
I think if the general public saw what real estate was really like, they would be appalled and offended. I'm an outsider looking in. I'm letting you know I'm part of an industry that I'm not a huge fan of. Right. I used to love real estate. Then I realized how transactional it was, and that has been a huge turnoff for me.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
So now I've become the advocate for experience.
Yeah.
The advocate for this is what you do and what a difference. Amazing people. So I will have mortgage advisors on here. I don't care what company they work at.
Yeah.
I will have badass real estate agents that care about people and prioritize experience, community. Those are the people I want to advocate for.
Right, no doubt.
I see so many of those people in San Diego Real Producers.
Yeah, no doubt. And you're right. Maybe that's like, I think we're all products of who we attract, right?
Yes.
Based on like just who we are as people. And you're going to attract your tribe, right? And I truly believe that. And but to your point, it's funny because I love that you said that you're prioritizing experiences. Although that might not be like, because that would be not what I'm thinking in my head. What I'm thinking in my head is similar in the regard that I want to prioritize phenomenal relationships with each other, and that's kind of the same thing in a way. It's not, but it is, right? So, again, goes back to it like. Money is just a tool that we all need and will use, and it comes and it goes. The more wrapped up you are about making fucking deals done and getting things going on and money, the more it won't come to you. If you live in an abundance place, mindset wise, but also just all wise, like, and not just like give all your money away. No, but like if you are smart and just understand the concept of the flow and the ebb of freaking money, you're going to be in that abundance and it's going to come. And you don't have to worry about all the other shit. It's about relationships.
Yeah,
it always goes back to that.
Jessie, you know what I'm impressed with? Like the access that you give, because, you know, until you get to really know someone, you don't know how someone lives their life. Like I've really learned that how I do one thing is how I do everything.
Yeah.
So I have this approach, and Jeff Finster, I'm sure the guy that owns Everbowl.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So he's got a great podcast. He had somebody on and he said ROI. His definition of ROI was really different. Return on impact. That's how you are. Like when I think of, you're one of those people in San Diego that's return on impact.
I like that.
I'm return on impact. I live return on impact.
Yeah.
Like this morning I sent messages to my boys saying, I love you. Every single day I just want to take one person, make a positive impact so they pass it on. That's how you come across to me about your brand.
No doubt. I love that because you're exactly right. Like it goes back to whether I forget when we were talking about it, but that's exactly what I want. Like I just want to connect people, whether it makes a financial impact for them, or it's like I've just introduced them to their next best babysitter, or I've introduced them to their next best friend or their therapist. Who fucking knows, right? So like just the connection piece of it all.
Well, we're definitely connected now through Eric Gilman with all that nuggets that you drop. I feel like you're honorary BFF with us now because I love Gilman.
He spoke so highly of you too, which is
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
he told me about being on your podcast like fucking a long time ago.
Well, this is the third podcast. The first time I've ever gone solo. It's different.
What do you mean?
So I had two other podcasts that I did before this one, and it was co-host. So I had a co-host with me on both of those. This is the first one I've ever done solo. It's so different.
No co-host. You don't need a co-host.
No co-host. No.
No.
You would not need a co-host at all. You got to go solo.
Yeah, I don't need a co-host. But you don't need a co-host.
I'm not getting a co-host.
Don't do that. No, you have what it takes to run that shit.
That's what's fun. Let's talk about West Virginia.
Oh God, why?
Yeah, because so you grew up. Wow. If we have anyone from West Virginia, I'm sorry. That was impromptu.
Well, and
I'm
again,
not from there.
And if my family and friends from West Virginia listen to this, I got love, guys. I'm just fucking with you.
Why wouldn't they listen to this? This is amazing. What was the best part about growing up in West Virginia? One thing.
Okay, best part.
One thing.
I do enjoy the winters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's special about the winters in West Virginia?
Well, one time our whole lane like sleeted down with ice. So we all put on our ice skates and ice skated the lane. Like fucking cool.
You're not fucking doing that in San Diego.
No, fuck no.
No chance.
No, that was so cool. I remember that. Let me see. What else? The summers are real nice too. And like they're just green everywhere. There's lots of trees. I mean, you got bugs too, but like my homie Jessica, my best friend Jessica Barral, we're still best friends. I have two best friends from home and we're still very close. Shout out to Jessica because I do love her. I talk to her all the time. And especially she's a peds nurse back home, and my son was sick last week, I was telling you. So she's been helping me out because I'm like, these doctors are gaslighting me. Like, what the fuck? And she was like, do not let them do that.
Did you go to Mom Zone? Did you go into Intense Mom Zone?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Even today I went to the doctor and was like, listen, I know you're just like one of the doctors here.
Okay.
But I'm tired of being gaslit. Like, this is the fourth time we've been in here for Remy and his lungs and his wheezing. So like, what's up? Like, we needed, So I had to pull out Mama Bear big time, but it is what it is. But anyway, so yeah, West Virginia, and all my family still lives there. I only have like one or two cousins that moved away.
Okay.
But yeah, all my family lives there. So I'll go home. It's actually pretty expensive to travel to West Virginia. It's actually cheaper to like get a plane ticket to Southeast Asia than fucking West Virginia. I don't understand why. But the East Coast is like, by the way, would you say weird. West Virginia is East Coast or Midwest?
East Coast.
Oh, okay. That was just like that. All right.
Yeah. That's a no-brainer. It's on the coast. Like, that's not.
It's not, though.
It's not?
No. Look up a map. Virginia's on the coast, but West Virginia
is in
west of
Virginia.
It's its own state.
But it doesn't have any. Okay, so West Virginia doesn't have any access to the ocean?
No, it's 8 hours from the closest.
Oh my
ocean.
goodness. Okay.
In fact, here's another fun fact.
If you ever want like geography advice, don't come to me.
By the way, you're not alone. It's most people like.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, when I talk
gotta
about
look at a map.
You gotta look at a map. When I talk to people in West Virginia, they'll go, "Oh, West Virginia, cool. What part of Virginia?" And I'm like, West Virginia. It's its own fucking state.
It is. Yeah,
it's
that I knew.
You did know that, but yes, it's not a part of Virginia because there was a civil war years ago, and they separated, and there's West fucking Virginia.
They divorced.
They did.
They divorced. Brought it back.
So, right. Oh my God. So yeah, anyway, but I do, and my family's still there, and I do love it. I was thinking about, houses are stupid cheap there. So I was thinking about like buying.
Buy a second home.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about buying, something I can afford literally with the savings I have right now.
Oh, there you go.
Like, okay. Like I'm telling you, it's night and day. Now your income and your rents are a lot less there, but I don't know. Maybe I'll buy
in this market. I mean, I
heard Ohio is a great place to buy.
Yeah, I have a family right now in Ohio. You know what? Like, you do your homework. There's always
There's investments everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'd like to keep buying in San Diego, but I just think this shit's overpriced. I ain't gonna lie. Big time.
Really? Yeah. You're saying that? Okay, I don't even want to go there with you. How come you think it's overpriced?
Maybe it's because I've lived many, many places. Uh-huh. But that same house you can get. The same house in San Diego you buy in Texas for not just half the price, but like a third of the price. Okay. And that house in Texas would be like triple the size. Yeah. So like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I have an answer for you.
Okay.
I do. Okay.
What?
You're home in Texas. It's in Texas.
Yeah. I get it.
That's like literally, no, I just like, it's so funny.
I get it. You're right.
Because everyone says, I feel for families, and I don't call them clients because all my family's like, I'm in their game. Like I'm in there for the future. When they say that, I'm like, you're absolutely right. If you put this house in Texas, you're not going to pay. Yeah. If you put it in Texas, you're right. You would pay a lot less. Too. Because right now, so I look at this, like not only is your house an asset, but your mortgage is an asset too if you got it in 2020, 2021, because it has a low interest rate. So if you think about the general problem is we don't make building homes a priority. Right. We want to solve the home prices. Let's build more fucking houses.
Well, why aren't they? Why was there for years like a hold on building? I don't know that.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna speak for other areas. I've just dug into California.
Yeah. Well, okay.
And it's like we don't encourage builders.
Why though?
We discourage because of all the red tape. And so I read this article. They had $1 billion allocated to build affordable housing in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. They spent the $1 billion and didn't even make 10% of their housing goal.
Oh, is that right?
Like if you go, and these are like articles that I read in college papers. So it's like we spend so much time talking about interest rates. We don't talk about the real problem is we don't address housing. Yeah. Like if you had more houses, that's why we're losing people. Yeah. Like we are getting a mass exodus, and it's not critical. But what I'm saying is sometimes I feel like in the real estate industry, we focus our attention on what everybody else is focused on instead of the real problems, which is, hey, if you have a lot of debt, it's going to be really, really hard to buy a house in California.
No, for sure.
It's hard.
For sure.
And I wouldn't want anyone to fail. So I was fascinated when you said that, because who better is connected with the real estate industry, and you feel that it's overpriced.
I do, but that's amazing. But I think it's I think it's my concept of I've lived many places.
Right.
I'm not from California originally, so I'm not like born and bred, right? The people who are from here are like, oh fuck, I'm living in California all my life. Well, it's like, okay. And that's fair. I got family members up in the Bay on my husband's side that they're going to be there for the rest of their lives, and that's okay. I just see all the other opportunity in other states. Okay. I just see and also it goes back to like how I want to raise my family too. I think that there's a little bit more at play with some of the fucking decisions that our lawmakers in California are making. Now that I'm a mom, I'm paying way more attention.
You should.
And I'm sick, honestly. It makes me
disgusting.
It makes me sick.
Disgusting.
So like, my husband's born and raised in California. I know he wants to stay here. By the way, I ain't trying to leave anytime soon.
Right.
I just want to have opportunities.
Yeah.
and I don't want to be stuck. And I don't love what lawmakers are doing. Like like, okay, let's talk about it real quick.
Go ahead.
Like they fucking, what they do in China's leadership decided to visit San Francisco. And guess how many fucking days it took them to clean up San Francisco?
How many days?
2. To get all the homeless off the street and fucking clean the streets.
Okay.
They could have done that all the fucking time.
What bothers you about that?
What bothers me is they're not doing anything about any of the homeless situations. It's getting way, way worse and out of control,
right.
which is causing people to leave,
right.
including like where I live is a safe neighborhood for the most part. But my husband is already talking about, we live near SDSU and it's great, but we're already talking about, wow, he's like, I don't want them going to this school down the street. Fuck no. I want them going to Poway or some sort of nicer school. And I'm like, okay, so we have to make our way up north. But my point is, like in all those districts and schools matter, and like schools matter too. But that again goes into like another whole topic of like, what are they really teaching your kid in school? And like, is it valuable information? And what do we, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just challenging all these little things because God didn't give me this fucking brain to be like, oh, let's just fucking keep doing the same shit. Like, challenge what is in your face right now, and like ask, is there a better way to do this?
Do you know what Dan Fulkerson said yesterday? He's like, you should be asking questions.
Yes.
All the time. Be curious. Like, how come? You know, I'm like, Jessie, I fell into the trap. I fell into the real estate trap of thinking what everybody else thinks. And if you do that and you become a sheep, that's on me, not no one else.
Right.
So now I started asking like, hey, there's all these families that want to buy. Do you know how sad it makes me to tell a family, hey, I'm sorry, like the reality of ever becoming a homeowner in California, in San Diego is probably never going to happen for you unless you exponentially increase your income. Right. And even eliminating debt at this point, I don't think is going to help some people. Right. That's crazy to me. Like, how are we encouraging? Like, so now I have kids that are growing up and have families and now they have to move, or I got to build them an ADU. Right. I'm thinking like, how do we actually solve problems?
Yeah,
that's what the real estate industry and us working together can help do.
Right. But I agree with you. And the big thing though, is going to that next level of lawmakers. Why aren't and just pull it all apart, dude. Like, let's start getting to the fucking people who make decisions and make some of these decisions. Like stop making stupid decisions. And also the other like side part of it is this, and everybody, it's kind of crazy to me that all of us don't talk about this. We love living here, right? Yeah. We pay a fuckload in taxes to fucking live here.
Yes.
A fuckload.
Yes.
Okay. And where's the money going? How is it going to serving real estate? How is it going to serving our youth and kids? How are we cleaning up homeless and helping homeless right now? These fucking government officials are sitting on $200,000, $500,000 a year salaries, and they're fucking doing this. Okay.
Well,
they're fucking sitting on their hands. They're paid to do nothing to solve the homeless problem. Like, I'm convinced.
They're paid to get reelected.
Dude. And paid to make the like, that's what I'm saying. So like, I hope if anybody's listening to this right now and they just start to ask some smarter questions and dig in and vote for better people. We need to vote better people in.
Okay.
Period.
So I love that you brought this up, and I've been thinking about this a lot with the ROI concept, with the return on impact. So I decided, hey, if everyone says I can't change the system, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start on my community. Yeah. I'm going to start putting a more positive message out there. And instead of talking about all the negative, hey, let's start challenging the people that we elect to get shit done, that we hold them to the standard of getting shit done. Because if you and I don't do what we need to get done, I don't have a job tomorrow.
Listen, without a doubt, in fact, a podcast I will shout out. It's called the PBD Podcast, Patrick David Bett.
Oh, I know Patrick David Bett. Dude, yeah, he's hardcore.
I've been listening to his podcast and I absolutely love it. And it's a worldview and perspective, economic view, and a very big political view. And he has all different types of political people on there. He just had Vivek. Forgive me, I can't say that man's last name, but Vivek's running for president. Okay. And, I loved what he fucking said on this podcast. He said, I was like, this is bold, but I loved it. He's like, if I get if he's made president, he said that the first thing he's going to do is cut the government officials and the bureaucrats. He's going to take their social security number. And if your social security number ends in a positive, or I'm sorry, even number, you're cut. You lose your job. And if your social security number ends in an odd number, you keep your job.
Okay.
So you cut right there, like 75% of people that are overpaid, not doing a goddamn thing, and not helping. Now, you also lose a whole bunch of good people too. But you could do what Elon Musk did when he took over Twitter, X now or whatever. He fucking laid off and fired a whole bunch of people and were like, you're dead weight. You're no good. Bye-bye. And guess what he did? He brought back a couple or a few that he was like, yeah, you shouldn't have been fired. You do good work. So I love what Vivek said about like literally starting, like, let's just fucking chop this shit and let's mix it up. And that's what I'm all about. Like, again, this is why I love living in California. I'm not moving anytime soon. But the government overreach, and this started, and honestly, COVID is what kind of snowballed and peeled all the fucking layers back. But like, if you're not paying attention and you're not like looking through all of these things and questioning where your tax-paying dollars are really going, like really fucking pull apart. Start asking better questions. Start talking to the right people. Start asking people that have a pulse on all this. And you can also bury your head in the sand, right? Go for it. But like,
okay, so I had my head buried so far up my you-know-what for such a long time. Now I realize, hey, it wasn't on anybody else. Like, I can't get mad at politicians if I'm not doing anything to speak up for this.
Totally.
Now I have a platform.
Totally.
And this platform, oh, fuck yeah, you can say what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because I live here, I pay a shitload of taxes, and what in the world am I leaving behind for my kids?
Right.
Like, this is,
right.
When the heck are my kids going to own a house here?
And this is where, again, you're exactly right. And this is why it goes deeper, because if you really pull apart where all the money's going, and this is where, again, going back to schools, like John, I think it was Rockefeller or Roosevelt, it was one of those, said this statement. You have to look up the quote because I won't remember it specifically. But he said he doesn't want to raise, in schools, they're not trying to raise independent, like thinkers, entrepreneur, thinking type of people. They want workers. They want sheep. They want sheep that just fucking follow the rules. That's what the government wants.
Yes.
Because that's how, by the way, they, like, if you think that we live in this amazing capitalist economy, we do. We've been, it's like one of the biggest tests of democracy that might be failing, by the way. Because little by little by little, they're taking and they're taking and they're taking more and more control. And because whether they want to move it into a more socialistic society, to a more communist society, again, the top people want the control and they started it. And if you didn't see it with COVID, or if you literally are still wearing your fucking mask in your car, wake the fuck up. Like, wake the fuck up.
And I 100% agree with your take, and I really don't care. If somebody wants to wear their mask, do it. Don't push your opinion on anyone else. Enjoy it, dude. Wear 10 masks for all I care.
True.
I'm just being real with you. Like, no, I see it.
And I feel that way too.
And it's hilarious. I'm like, all right.
I'm just saying, wake up.
You're right. That I agree with. Up. And we need more voices. So when people come on, they ask what you did. Can I cuss? Can I be myself? Can I be real? Fuck yes. We need more people being real, saying this is not okay.
It's not.
How we are setting things. Look, I'm the parent of my kids.
Right.
I get to dictate the lessons in life that they learn because I'm an engaged parent and I care.
Right.
No one in my school system of what we pay taxes should be ever trying to parent my kids.
No, exactly.
And if you do, I'm going to be frustrated because that's not
their role.
That's not
your fucking role.
Exactly.
You're a teacher, teach.
Yes.
You're not talking to my kids about sexuality. My 5-year-old you can, like, at daycare, they're like, oh, we're teaching him body parts. Go for it. I call his penis a penis because guess what? It's called a fucking penis.
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
Call it a vagina. It's called a vagina. Like, you don't have to call it a wusser or wee-wee or like protect it. Like, you could call it whatever you want for fun at home, but like you could also just call it a penis because that's his penis. So like, and like teach them about, like, anyway, being protected, because that's another whole topic about touching and just making sure that they're not getting touched any way that's not right. Right. And anyway, I'm a big believer that like, no, the teacher doesn't need to be talking to my kid about his sexual orientation or even give a fuck. Why do you give a fuck, teacher? That's what I'm saying. Like, where's that rhetoric and why is it coming down the pike? I'm confused. But I'm not confused. I actually think I know why.
Yeah, please give me, what's your take on
I think
this?
that whole like transgender movement and all of that like BS that's going on, I think that they're literally trying to make us like fight about dumb ass shit so that they can like look over here so that we can do this over here. That's what I truly think is going on, is that if you really pulled apart what's going on with the government and officials and bureaucrats and like where your money's going and what they're just doing. Yeah. And by the way, it's not just one, but I just want to be clear. I'm not like pro-Democrat, pro-Republican. Yeah. I'm like, I say I would feel like I'd be more libertarian if anything else, but like, because it's not, that's what I'm saying. It's not one side. And that's where the whole tribal blue versus red, fucking stop it, people. Wake up. It's not blue versus red. It's both of them are a fucking problem. Yes. Like both of them are problems and they are creating problems for me, you, and everybody else who just, by the way, that's the other thing. They want us to, and again, the whole idea with like inflation and all the things, we don't have enough mental bandwidth after work because we go work our asses off and then we have to deal with our kids and everything the kids are going through. We don't have the mental bandwidth to challenge all these things. That's why they don't want you to.
Of course they don't.
They want you to just keep doing that and pay and be a law providing citizen. And that is it.
It's falling in line.
Law abiding
and I've been thinking about it. Like I'm not combative. I am very inquisitive and I will challenge the status quo if it doesn't make sense because I like to think through things.
Yes. We
thinking.
We need to just use our brains, people. Like
free thinking.
It's like, and then the whole like idea of, them like, and again, this is a slippery slope and people just aren't paying attention. Like, again, it's happening because here's the thing, it's happening. How do I put this? It's happening, but it's happening like slowly.
Yeah.
But also fast, actually. But it's also but it's happening blatantly. So let me give you an example. They put the whole gag order on President Trump or whatever. Okay, I don't understand all the details. All I know is this one judge did not give him a jury. He wanted to have his trial in front of a jury, and the judge said no. How is that fair? How's that fair how is that fair?
How is it fair that you mandate that businesses close down? How is it fair that you put small business owners how is it that you screw over private investors that don't have the capital to cover their mortgage and you give a moratorium? How is that fair?
Right. Like
these are the people that we elected.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like the idea of like the freedom of speech situation, like going out the door or them like, and that's what's fascinating about social media and why I love these podcasts. And that's why I listen to a handful and I like the political ones because it helps me understand like the bigger picture.
Yes.
Okay. And like, again, when you pull that all apart, it's like, damn, these guys are really trying to shut it, like, or if you say something wrong on YouTube, they can shut your shit down or whatever that is. And I don't understand all the details of that, right? All I know is that's a problem. You should have freedom of speech. Everyone has the opportunity to speak how they feel, and they should have your platform shouldn't be shut down because you were polarizing or said the wrong thing that opposed, again, that one political party. It's crazy to me. If you really that's crazy to me. And people don't care. That's what's even more crazy.
Well, it's because they're so busy on the division.
Right.
It's creating the division and getting us to focus our attention on stupid stuff.
Right.
And now I'm really focusing my attention on the smart stuff. People, advocates, relationships, people that are speaking their truth and saying, this is not okay. Like, we could do this better. We can. It's so funny that we have one of the largest economies in the world in California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And our homeless just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
This I just don't get. In fact, I talked to my husband about this the other day, and that's what I was trying to explain to him. I said, listen, when I grew up, where I grew up, if there was a homeless person, because the other day, I'll give you an example. I was with my son, we're driving, and I hear ting, 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 just something's hitting something. And my son is 2.5 and he's like, what is that noise? Like, what is that noise, Mom? And I was like, I don't know, baby. I don't see where it's coming from, but I hear it too. And then we get the green light goes, and then I see, and because now I can see it's a homeless man just beating the shit out of one of the poles or whatever, just one of the middle poles, just with something, right?
Yeah.
And my son sees this, right? And he's like, and you could tell he's like, that's interesting. Why is that happening? Where I grew up and when I grew up, if you saw that happening, you'd go, oh shit, that guy's not right. He's either on drugs or he's not mentally right. You'd call the cops and be like, hey, help him out. He needs help. He needs to go somewhere, or someone needs to help restrain him, or who knows what he's going to do next. Like, just blah, 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 blah. The sad part and why I get frustrated is because A, I feel like the protection piece for my kids, like mama bear's coming out, right? But like B, why is it that we're just like okay with that now? Why are we just like, oh, there's just another homeless person like fucking losing their mind? Like, that's not okay. Like, but we just, as this society in California and probably nationwide, just are like, well, he's homeless and he's probably not all there. And we just move on with it. And the cops, sadly, because they're less cops now than ever before, and they can't like deal with the issue, right? But like it is more of probably, again, now that we've pulled it all apart, it's probably a mental illness that is going on, but then you throw drugs on top of it and it ain't no good, right? So it's out of control big time. So anyway, my point is like, why is that okay? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And also, most importantly, what if I was the one walking past him and he decided to take that pipe and slam it into my kid's face?
Right.
And kill him or something. Like, think about that kind of shit. And like how, by the way, if that really happened, what would be the next step? And like, what's the next step for the government and to help protect our children and protect people who are assaulted? My husband got punched in the face I'm sorry, he didn't get punched in the face. He got bit by a homeless man in 2018. Yeah, fucking crazy. I don't even have to go into that story, but like literally was bit by a homeless man at 11:30 at night downtown when we were leaving a bar. Yep. So my head is constantly on a fucking swivel now when I'm downtown. Sadly, I don't even go downtown.
You had to experience it's to become numb to human pain.
Yeah.
Is crazy to me.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, that's exactly what's kind of happening, because you see it, and sadly I see it, and then you have to continue on with your day. But like, most importantly, I can't go in my downtown anymore. I don't want to go downtown anymore. It's dirty. It's gross. I have to constantly pass homeless people that are asking me for money or asking me for something or walking and following me. That doesn't count the one time I went and I was delivering pizzas. So I wanted to help my friend Sharissa out. She was like, hey, let's go deliver pizzas to homeless. And I was like, okay, dude, let's do it.
Ooh, that's great.
We bought a shitload of pizzas.
There you go.
We went down. We're offering all these homeless people pizzas. This one guy started following me and cussing me, and I had her little sister with me. And I'm talking little sister. She was like, this is 4 years ago now, but like, she was probably 12 and, or like 10. And either way, I had this little girl it's a little girl, and we're being chased around by this homeless person who's like cussing us and like saying, why'd you look at me like that? It's like, bro, I was just offering you some fucking free pizza. So my point is, and I digress after this, it's frustrating to live in a place that's so beautiful and spend so much money to live here to have that kind of reality. And it's not okay, in my opinion. It's not okay.
Could you imagine? So I have a family I've gotten to know over time in the city. Could you imagine in the city, like what property values are with the homeless issue? Like the last time I went to
did they go down
San
a lot?
Francisco? Oh, I mean, would you want like the homeless? Have you seen property values in the city? Like they're expensive as fuck. What I'm saying is, how much does it bring down your property value when all of a sudden it becomes homeless corner?
Right.
You didn't do anything.
Right.
Like, and I'm not saying, hey, look, I think we should give. I think there's a lot of people that if they want help, we got to go above and beyond. We got to do more.
There's a strategy.
Solution.
For sure.
We need a solution.
There's a solution and strategies for sure. In fact, and that's the other thing. Again, people act like this can't be solved.
That's
listen,
not true.
It's not true. You know why? Because if you look at, I think it's Switzerland, there's some other European countries, Amsterdam, there's a few that just have very, very little homeless. Yeah. All our government needs to do, and by the way, his name's Michael Schellenberger, I think. He wrote this book. He wrote a book called San Francisco. and it's about the homeless population and all the things that are going on. And it's about I actually didn't read the book. I just heard the podcast that he was on. And he was going to run for governor. I don't know what happened there. I would probably vote for him. He's real well spoken.
He probably didn't. He wouldn't get elected.
Well, exactly, because they shut down anybody who, again, if you're not going to beat their drum, they will shut you down.
That's who we need to elect. We need to elect the opposite of what the norm is.
Exactly.
That'll solve the problem.
But that you're exactly right. And that's the challenge, is those people never get FaceTime. Or they don't get the funding. So that's like, again, if you really pull apart politics and you want to just keep you want someone to just keep doing the same shit, again, on both sides. And that's the thing. It's the bipartisan, like the two-party system is kind of fucked, honestly, but like it is what it is. Because if you wanted to run and be independent, you don't get FaceTime and you don't get elected. It's either you have to be on the blue or red. But again, that's my point. I'm not trying to say I'm for one or the other. I'm trying to say they are both corrupt as fuck, and wake up.
You know what you are? I know what I am. I'm for this country.
Yeah,
for the land of opportunity.
For sure, dude.
Do you know? Okay, so I'm first generation. My parents. So when you have money in Iran, your parents get to send you to college here. Like that's just a part of privilege. It is what it is. So he goes to UTEP, University of Texas, El Paso. I'm born in El Paso. We go back. And now I'm like, I put myself in that. I'm like, what if I was living in Iran right now? Would I have the opportunity? My kids wouldn't have the entitlement that they have right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I talk about entitlement all the time. I think it's hilarious. Even with my kids, I'm not okay with it.
Yeah, no.
I'm not.
No.
Like, to me, if we want to be strong and we want to compete, our work ethic has to improve. Our principles have to improve. We have to be giving to our community.
Did the entitlement thing, and this is my question, how old are you?
I'm 47.
Okay, I'm 37.
Okay.
So I'm curious, does the entitlement, is it a generational thing? Meaning, was it like right after our generation, maybe mine? Yeah. Would you be considered a millennial?
No, I'm not. I'm right before. What is it? Gen Y? I know. I'm a Gen X, I think.
Okay.
I'm Gen X.
So I wonder if it's Gen X and millennials have created somehow. And again, I don't understand. But
I think it started with the boomers.
Yeah. Like, what's the entitlement thing? Because it is an issue.
Oh yeah. So I think basically what happened is so you have the Great Depression. Those parents had. I'm a huge history guy. The Great Depression, they had kids. So all of their kids grew up like saving, all that stuff. Exactly. And hard. You got to work hard because their parents grew up hard. Right. Those were the principles. Then they're like, oh, well, our parents dealt with the Great Depression. We want to make it better for our kids.
Yes.
And then their kids wanted to make it better for their kids. And now all of a sudden, my generation has probably millennials towards the younger. And now millennials are like, hey, I grew up with my parents like us. I'm part of the problem. I know I am because I don't teach my kids to do hard things.
Is it because like we had it a little easier? Maybe
we had it way easier. We make more income. Like my kid, I had to work my ass off to buy my car.
Right.
Work my ass off. My kid got a car at 17.
Yeah, like here you go. Here's the keys.
Here you go, baby. Yeah. I'm like, okay, that wasn't cell phones. They didn't. They're exposed. It's
this is why, and you're right. Because
this is fascinating, by the way. This is
why, again, and I'm kind of grateful. I'm born when I'm born, having kids when I'm having kids, because I'm watching and listening to a lot of what's going on, and I'm like, and I'll take it, like you said, like as you admitted it, right? Like you got the car just given to him, but like little things like. I already know how I want to do some stuff. Like, for example, my kid, they're young. I got 2 under 2, right? So I got time. But like once they understand the concept of money, I don't know when that date is, but like call it 5 years old, I guess. I'm going to say, hey, buddy, we earn money. And how we earn money is by doing chores and helping daddy and mommy around the house.
Right.
So but when you earn the money, there's 3 things we do with the money. Okay. You don't just spend it. There's 3 things we do. So every Friday or every like whatever, I want to make a system. Every Friday we go to the bank and say it's I'm not great at math. So say it's $9, right? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So $9 because I'm real great at math. Okay.
Awesome. I sell money for a living. I can help you out.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. Say call it 10 then maybe, but like, okay. So you earn $9 from your chores. So we take the money and we invest $3.
Nice.
We save $3.
Okay.
And then the other $3 we spend. We put in our bank account because and this is, I'm going to teach these principles and start like that because I heard this and I thought this was fascinating because I want him to understand. And most importantly, my sister right now, she has an older son he's older. And anyway, I guess one time she was on her, he wanted something and he goes, Mommy, just like, can't you just order it the way you do like on Amazon? Just order it, just click it and order it and buy it. And she realized right then and there, oh shit, he's watching me, how I buy things. And he can think he's just entitled to just buy, but he doesn't realize that like it comes from somewhere with money and So the idea, I want my kid to have his own bank account so that when he's like 10 or I don't know, 5, whatever, how old he is. And he's like, Mommy, I want this. I'll be like, you fucking buy it, bro. And he's like, well, you have a bank account. You have a debit card. You have money in your account, friend.
When are you going to start?
But I think like,
when are you and Jason going to start?
When do kids start to understand the concept of money?
I mean, you're talking about 7. I would say as early as 5.
Yeah, I was going to say 5. 5 sounds great to me. He's 2. I'm already getting him a Roth started and all the bank accounts and all the things are getting moving January 1 with I got a new tax writer. So I'm all about like, he's on my payroll. We're leveling up. But like that's my big thing. And it's maybe it's because I don't like people asking me for money. I don't know. Or like even family and friends asking me for money or anything. So maybe it has like a deeper rooted concept for me, but I love the idea of my son being like, Mommy, I want to buy this. And I'll be like, oh, go right ahead, bro. And him being trained that like, okay, cool. I want to buy this. It costs $25. I have $100 in my account. Okay, I could buy it.
Jessie, do you know what's going to scare you?
What?
When I do loan consultations, because I never talk about like them buying a house whenever I do their initial. It's always about getting to know them. And then I ask them this question, like, what's your relationship with money?
Good
I was
question.
asking that. What's your relationship? Do you know what the answer I get? 90% of people, they're not comfortable at all talking about money. So I literally have to get families permission. I'd be like, hey, Jessie, it's okay. By the way, we're trained at school not to learn money because that's how we get into the financial trap, which is true.
Right.
You go to college, what's one of the first things you do when you get to college? You start taking out credit cards. So you become a slave to the system right off the bat.
Right. That's exactly what happened to me too. Yeah, my dad, when I turned 18, was like, here, sign up for this credit card. And I was like, but why? He's like, we need to build credit. And I'm like, I think it sounds like a bad idea. You're giving me an 18-year-old female a fucking credit card and telling me to like figure it out.
Yes.
Without giving me the resources tools and the tools to figure it out. So like, and I'm actually, now that I'm talking about it, I'm like more stoked to like teach these concepts to my fucking kids. I'm
glad. You know what? I never thought who would have ever thought this podcast would be about parenting? And, you know, I think this is why I love, like I've become such a huge fan of podcasts because when you get to know Jessie Wright and what makes her click, like how cool is it for someone to be able to be like, man, I love her. She's so real and she's raising a young family in San Diego and this is about your future. I mean, I feel terrible for people that are homeless, that they don't have any hope. That's what makes me sad is like, and we're not helping.
And like, again, there's tools and resources to help them. But like, again, it can't be done by just me. It has to start from these decision makers down. So that's another whole concept. But going back to it, and you're exactly right. Because when you really think about it, then it goes back to a bunch of things. But like, I'm grateful because I have the right partner who's going to teach the right concepts. And like ultimately, and I love my family. Like I love my mom and my dad, but I learned a lot of what I wouldn't do. Good, exactly.
Good.
And I learned a lot about what I would do. And they did a lot of things right. And the things that I'm going to take and learn, again, I've got these pieces of the puzzle from other just people like they're like I watched some video. This one was like, I'm going to leave $9 million to my kids. Here's how. And like that, she just said the 3 things, which I just mentioned. Put your kid on payroll, put that money that you pay them in payroll into their Roth IRA. And the last one, which I totally forgot. Put them already on your credit card so that they're building credit before they even turn 18.
I have a wild idea for you.
What, you got something more?
You have influence. You're an influencer in San Diego with a lot of entrepreneurs. Do you know Voltaire Lepe?
I love Voltaire.
Do you know? I love fucking Voltaire. He's amazing. Voltaire, I've learned a lot from you.
Dude, Voltaire's like, what?
Hold on, you'll love this. So how many VA events do you see? Like we're teaching people how to leverage their VA loan.
VA
it's always
every day.
First time home buyers. Okay, all of those things are sales to me. Yeah. All of that is, I do an event, I want you to come here so I can sell something to you. I want to start doing events like Voltaire. Hey, I want to bring your kids, bring your teenagers, let's teach them finance.
Yes.
Let's teach them the power of real estate.
Yes.
I love what he's doing.
Dude.
His educational platform. I'm doing that in North County. He's like literally, I was texting him earlier today and he implemented that. The only reason I met him is because of Zach Pitts and Danny Forrester had a better home inspection. They connected us network. I didn't know Voltaire. What a phenomenal human being.
Dude, he's so smart. And like, what he's doing also for like inner city kids too, because that's where he grew up and like what he came from as well. Like I just love everything about him. And when you really pull it apart, the guy owns like a fuckload of real estate too. Like he's so smart about how he's done it. He did a video I saw recently where he was like, how much he had to pay in property taxes, but he's like, well, this is the game though. And so he was sharing like, yeah, you have to pay your property taxes, but like this is the outcome of having all these properties. So like it was cool because he's like showing both.
Don't you love like that? That's the representation of real estate. I want real estate. Like I think what I love about our profession and our industry is that power of impact we can make on people's lives. Yeah,
no doubt. Especially, and again, you're right. How do we stop trying to work with our hands tied behind our back? And I mean that like the whole building thing you were talking about earlier. Like, how do we make it a little easier to get those families homes? They don't want to. They've born and raised
how come we're not
here.
creating content on that?
Yeah, for
like
real.
This is where change happens. It's things like this is bringing influencers in the community. The Voltaire's coming back again because I want to take people like that and say, hey, I'm an advocate for this person in my industry that's very transaction based because he's a human and he's improving his community.
Yeah,
that's the power of real estate.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's crazy. I fucking love it.
No, it's legit. And like you said, it's again. And I guess I didn't have that viewpoint coming in. So it's like, this is why this is really good to have these conversations, right? Because I'm not a realtor and I don't intend to be. I want to be an investor. We already are off and running on that. And I think we're walking into a market that's going to provide some opportunity as well. So I want to position myself and load the gun so that I can be ready to go. So that's what we're doing is saving and being really mindful so that we can pull the trigger when we're ready. But, yeah, but going back to it because it's true. I would love to buy another. My goal is to buy one more house in San Diego. I said, and I'd love a duplex because we have a duplex, and it's a great situation where we Airbnb one. We have our house, and then we have an ADU. But like, I would love another duplex, but again, I think things are overpriced. So I'm like, I have to like probably change my mindset a little bit.
I think I got to do the math for you so you could see that's what I love doing this. The scenarios is the different options.
Well, you just got to run the numbers, and I understand if you just run the numbers. It's guiding to decision.
Yeah. Guiding to decision, whether it's right or not.
But the question is, do I want to own one more in San Diego right now or in the next like few years? Or do I want to like own in like Tempe, Arizona and like have a house for college students there right now?
I think there's a lot of ways to do both. And it's working with smart people that really listen to your goals above their goals and are creative and show you options to solve problems.
Right. Exactly.
Makes the best. So, Jessie, you're going to come back because we didn't even talk about like San Diego real producers deep in.
I'm so sorry. We went like
no.
into like.
I'm actually grateful. I'm grateful because you had no script. You didn't know, like that's the best part. Like this was real. I think branding to me. So this is what I want to leave with. And then I want you to give a couple of shouts out. Okay.
Okay.
Let's talk about brand and marketing.
Okay.
I personally think in the real estate space, I see the show that you put on, San Diego Real Producers. Like when I look at other real producers, the glitz and the glamour and the networking and all that stuff shows hardcore in San Diego Real Producers.
Totally.
Great content. What does branding mean to you? What does brand mean to you?
What does brand mean to me?
Yeah.
Honestly, it kind of goes back to like what my dad taught me, which is to go make a name for yourself.
Oh.
Like that's what brand, if you want to talk, like, and I love what your concept was about the event that you guys are going to host and those people that you're bringing in. Cause all those people obviously went and made a name for themselves. Right. And so like, that's truly what building a brand and branding is going and making a name for yourself. But doing it right with the right vision, the right mindset, the right heart. Exactly. Because if you're doing it for money, it's like, sure, like you're going to get the money and you'll fizzle out. And there's a shitload of people that have done that. Right. But like, how can you keep it? And it's about reputation too. That's definitely reputations. Actually, that's like right up there. When you think about brand, it's like reputation, like they're literally one and the same. They are.
Brand is reputation.
Brand is reputation. Yeah. Like, and that's why I try to lead always with my best foot forward, but also keep it real. Like I have to keep it real no matter what, because like, for example, we run the standings in the back of the magazine, the top 200 agent rankings just based on MLS, which is never perfectly accurate ever.
Of course not.
Okay. It's MLS. It's archaic. It's data that's archaic. It's systems that are archaic. It's never gonna be perfectly accurate. And most importantly, it's a lot of user error. Agents don't put their shit in there correctly, which gives—
you mean we don't learn how to use our tools to max? Oh,
no.
That's not very nice.
Yes. So that's what's kind of happening. Okay. And I get it. But my point is, what is my point with the data?
The MLS, the 200 rankings on the back.
I forgot what I was going to say about it.
Oh,
sorry.
I
literally had
as soon as I move to the next topic, you're going to remember.
Yeah, I'll remember.
Who do you want to thank? Who makes Jessie's light brighter besides Jason? You talked about your family. Who makes your day better?
My nanny, Tiffany. She came to the doctors with me today. She's great. I fucking love her. I literally trust her as much as I trust my husband with my kids.
Oh, and that's so special.
And I've only known her a couple years since she's been working with us. But like, she's my emergency contact on our stuff. Literally, she's like that. Also, I want to thank you. And like, just for having me on this and like creating a platform that like gets people's voices heard and out. And your homies here, like I'm looking forward to getting to know them. It sounds like they like really have dialed this in. And again, there could be some collaboration in the future there. And then I was going to say something really funny.
Go. Do it.
Jesus Christ. No, I was just kidding. I'm just fucking ready. I'm sorry. Like I'm just joking. That's what came to my mind. No, but and honestly, all the people that partner with us and support real producers, like, and all the agents that we partner with too. So like, what we do for agents, it's totally free to them. There's no cost to be involved with what we do for an agent. We really want to showcase and love on the people that are really doing a great job in the community and for their clients and for their families. Like you said, families, and so the people that support real producers, dude, I can't do this by myself. And like the last event we hosted was our big gala. We had 350 people there. And I kind of like looked around the room and I got a little sentimental.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, fuck, like this is crazy. Like it was Denny O. Shout out to Denny O, who's a top agent in downtown. He goes, Jess, listen, you came here at the event. He was like, listen, you came here and you knew nobody. And I remember your story. And I remember us in our first meeting. And he's like, and you literally built something that people like wildly respect. And myself included. He's like, and I was like, oh, thanks, man. You could tell I was just like, oh, thanks, appreciate it. But he was like, no, seriously, like, you don't have to do it now, but like take a second at some point and like just remember, like, this is built on your back, but like people love and respect this. And we all love that you're like, you do this for us. And I was like, oh, thanks, dude. And so like, I was like, oh man, that was like really cool that he took like a quick 5 minutes out of the event to like really let me know that. And he wasn't drinking or anything. So it wasn't like he was saying, he was like he's saying something hammered, but like he was just really loving on me. And then a little bit later, I was sitting there eating and I started to like kind of cry. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, and I'm not saying everyone in the room was there because of me. That wasn't the case. They were there because they wanted to be there. But it was because of the platform that we've created collectively. That's the power.
Who created that platform?
But like
the way,
but we did collectively.
It's your vision. Yeah, it's a collaborative vision,
right? It's and not just me. It's
absolutely not.
All, like they had to listen. I fight for events. You fight with people's personal schedules, people's family schedules, people's work schedules.
Yeah, those
350 people showed up and missed their family night that night. They missed their day, most of their business day because they had to go home and get ready early. Right. So like that takes time. So like I'm aware of like the sacrifices they made just to come out and be a part of that night. So like that's cool. And that makes me go like, fuck, thank you. Like,
and that's because you continue, like I had a couple of people text me like, are you going to be at this event? And when I said no, they're like, I'm like, I couldn't. I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to happen again. Cause literally when you're getting called out, that's where, hey, you have to be here.
That's cool.
That says a lot.
Thank you to those people who called you out.
Right?
Yeah. And you know, again, we want to partner with great people. So like, let's circle around on that for sure.
Oh, definitely. So this is first of many to come. Like I'm a huge Jessie fan. Everyone that speaks of you highly, like now it all clicks together. That because you bring the energy, you bring life, you bring positivity. This is how we make our communities better.
And bring the challenge, like you said, like there's a lot to be solved, and like we can do it together collectively. And that's why I even mentioned Dan Fulkerson a couple times, and like even my homie Andrew Greer talked about running for something in this government in California or in San Diego. He's talking about running for mayor, and I'm like, bro, do it fucking tomorrow. What are you waiting on? But he's got some bigger visions, and he wants to like get his game plan in. But he said in the next 5 years he wants to run, and I was like, I'll fucking vote for your ass.
Andrew or
Andrew
Dan?
Greer.
Andrew.
But like Dan,
I need to get to know him better. And Andrew's a beast.
Beast.
He's a beast. Like he's a guy. If like I'm looking forward to having him on the podcast. That hasn't happened yet. And it's kind of like he's one of those guys that's very, very outspoken, and he's outspoken about the right things and very practical and not a but guy. Don't give me buts, give me solutions.
No, he's someone I probably call him or he calls me. I'll call him 1 week, he calls me. Like we bounce ideas. He's really good at marketing. He understands people. He understands logistics. But I really like him because, well, I can shoot the shit with him and be honest about stuff, but also, he supports what we're doing and sees it, and right back at him. Like he's growing this mega business right now, and I'm just really excited for him. And like he's really like, if you want to know about zones and like understand zoning in San Diego, he's the only guy I could fucking recommend.
Really?
Oh yeah, like he understands zones. Like
how come you're Andrew Greer? I'm just letting you know this is your personal invite with Jessie.
Yeah, I'll
onto the Evolve Your Brand podcast, buddy.
I'll make it happen for you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, he's like, again, he's doing some big stuff with building and like, again, what he does in real estate, but like, again, he's finding solutions for these problems we talked about. And again, I love and respect him a lot. And family. I know his family. And I like his wife.
So I am so grateful. We're going to put all of Jessie's information. If you're involved in real estate in San Diego in any way, shape, or form, the next event I will definitely be at, because I ain't getting called out again.
I love that. Yeah, we'll be kicking off in 2024. With
look on the clock. How many minutes did we go?
Oh, nice.
Boom.
Yeah.
That didn't feel like it, right?
No. Dude, let's do it again.